Hey y'all, Coldfire here, and this is a Satisfactory mod video. On my previous episode I covered Refined Power, which is a mod that includes some renewable sources of power like wind, water, and some advanced fusion like this one and this one. But before we begin, someone pointed out on my previous video that I overlooked the automated biomass burner. So in this episode, the first thing we're gonna take a look is this. Oh, and by the way, this mod I'm using to fly around is called Area Actions. I'll cover this on a future video, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Let's check the automated biomass burner. So it behaves just like a normal bio burner. As you can see, it's very similar, but these one have this conveyor port. And with that conveyor port, you can place a storage container like this. And add a conveyor. Let me grab some biofuel down there. Alright. And it will work just like that. So it can hold just like a normal burner. Can stack up 200 of biofuel, and it will have a automatable input. So that is the biggest difference between the automated biomass burner and the normal biomass burner. They will both produce the same amount of energy. Let me check it out that for you. Alright, yes, they both make 30 megawatts of energy max. And the automated bioburner is unlocked at tier 1 with along with Refined Power Mark 1, which is Wind Turbine Mark 1. So it is one tier above the normal biomass burner, which you unlock at tier 0 hub upgrade level 6. So yep, that is really helpful, because one of the biggest issues about biomass burners is that you cannot automate them. I mean, you still cannot automate this 100% because you still need to collect the biomass, but that already helps a lot. So you can stockpile biomass and you don't need to worry too much about like have to manually come here and fill them. In my particular opinion, this should be standard at vanilla, but well, that's me. Alright, so last episode I showed you this beautiful masterpiece here called the Arc Reactor, and it also have a I'm Kibitz sticker next to it. Maybe like 3 years from now we'll have like a Coldfire sticker down here, maybe. You can only dream of. Either way, I'm gonna show you how it works now, because it took me a quite long time to set up this. All this just to make the fuel for these reactors, and this is by far suboptimal. This is like just a chain process I made. It's not balanced at all. It's all overclocked to make some fuel, which is those fuel rods that you just saw coming down here. So to make this, you need a lot of resources. So you need this brand new resource called element 65. You need water, you need sulfur, you need uranium, you need water again, and you need the reactor thingy itself, the casing, which for that you need quartz and heavy modular frames. So that is like really high end game here, so don't expect to be able to make this early on. And it's a quite complex production chain, because first of all, here I'm getting water because for some reason when I was doing this, the experimental branch had a bug that I could not gather water, so it just had the packaged water and fill these containers using a save edit. So basically you need water to begin with, and then you need sulfuric acid, which is sulfur and water. Then you need element 65 with sulfuric acid to make refined element 65. Then you need refined 65 with uranium to make unfiltered deuterium. And then you need unfiltered deuterium with packaged water to make fluid deuterium. And finally, you grab the liquid deuterium and you fill it up the reactor cores that you make on the assemblers there, and then you have it. This is the fuel that it will burn on both those, the big arc reactor and the micro arc reactor. The biggest difference between those two reactor sizes, the micro reactor only uses reactor cores and it produces 1 gigawatts of power, and the big one have a whole brand new user interface. It will use fuel and coolant. So you load up the fuel using the solid conveyor port and the coolant on the liquid conveyor port. To make the coolant is a pretty straightforward process. You need a manufacturer to mix bauxite, coal and limestone into making coolant powder, and then you just mix it with water here on this refinery. So water and coolant powder to make cloudy coolant, and then just straight like chain process on another refinery to make reactor coolant. So that is quite easy process there. So yeah, the coolant for this reactor is a liquid that you can store in industrial buffers. It's colored green, like a very bright green color, and it's needed to cool down this reactor. Alright, and about the big brother arc reactor here, it has this amazing sound and visual effect. Look at this. Of course you can disable the particles and the audio. So maybe to lower the load on your system, you can disable this. And let's see how much power can this deliver. Let me hook up with my power grid here. And this should be working now. So this is outputting 900-ish megawatts. The capacity is 5,000 megawatts. And you already can see that this buffer is going down quite fast. I'm not sure what the buffer means exactly. In theory, this arc reactor must have at least 10 or more cubic meters of fuel. If it runs out of that, it will like kind of melt down or shut down, something like that, but we'll see. So coolant levels are fine, fuel levels are fine, but the buffer is going down quite fast. Let's see what happens when it reaches 0. Right, buffer is empty. Alright, so I guess one buffer is exactly equal to one core reactor, I guess. Alright, and of course that I saved the very best to the very last, which is the Dyson Sphere. It is absolutely huge. Just compare it with the space elevator and see how immense this thing is. And to be honest, I have no idea how this works. We'll find out together. All I know is that it uses a lot of resources to build something. So it uses iron plates, screw, iron rods, and the carbon mesh and reinforced carbon, reinforced carbon, alright, and some other stuff that are introduced by this mod. So to make reinforced carbon, you need carbon mesh and in case industrial beans. And this is a little bit bugged because to make here the recipe say carbon dust, but it actually is making carbon mesh. So I'm quite confused here, but it doesn't really matter. I just made a whole bunch of them here and here, and we'll feed this thing right now for the first time on this video. Okay, it's filling up with carbon mesh and reinforced carbon. And now let's fill with the rest. Look at this. We're so close now, 1,000 items to go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. There we have it. What's going on here? Okay. That is very impressive. Can I get stuck here? No, I cannot. It is really impressive for a mod. Wow, this almost looked like vanilla, to be honest. And there they go. So basically this is sort of a space elevator that sends away resources to the atmosphere to build something, I guess. Alright. So what now? I have no idea what that even did. Alright, I guess I'll contact the mods developer for more information about this, because I have no idea what that actually did. And I think that'll be all for this episode. If you got interested about getting this or many other different mods, just make sure to check my video on how to install mods. It's linked in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.